Strange insects. It's like the insects the Yukari keeps in her room. Or makes food out of. I don't want to know what else she does with them. Nissan, please wake up. It's the same as every morning. She goes to her room and she's like, "Oh, Nissan, wake up." Every fucking morning, it's the same thing. Yukari shakes me awake. Huh? It's morning. There's a phone call for you, Nissan. I'm pretty sure I know who it is. A phone call from whom? From Vice Principal Seiki. The Vice Principal? I wonder what it could be. Nothing good. It's almost never anything good. I get up, head to the living room, and pick up the receiver. Hello? Sorry to keep you waiting. Yes, Tokisaka-sensei. I'm afraid something terrible has happened. Vice Principal? What's the matter? I readjust the receiver and listen carefully. Well, yesterday, Kuchiki Toko-san got into an accident. What? An accident? Yes, she was hit by a truck in front of the academy. The bottom drops out of my stomach. And how's her condition? It looks like she survived. However, her injuries are severe, and she's currently hospitalized at the Kuchiki Pathological Research Institute in Nakano. I see. Thanks for making the effort to contact me. Somehow, I'm able to keep my voice calm. I'm heading over to the hospital right now. What will you... I'm going to. I'll see you later. I set down the receiver. Nissan, did something happen? Yukari's face is a mask of concern. It seems that Kuchiki-san got into an accident. Kuchiki-san had an accident? Yeah, an accident. Not a murder. A traffic accident. Yeah, as if that... I guess that makes things a little bit better, at least. At least she wasn't murdered. She hasn't ended up like the others. But in the end, I don't suppose it makes much difference. Right now, I'm worried about Toko's condition. I'm heading out. Yukari, you're going to school. Okay. I head out for Nakano, trying to ignore the despondent look on her face. Saiki is already at the Kuchiki Pathological Research Institute when I arrive. Vice Principal. The director, Dr. Kuchiki, said to wait here for a little while. Saiki looks pretty composed, all things considered. Tokisaki-sensei. Hello, Kuchiki-san. Fumiya looks haggard. I can't really blame him. He was probably here all night, since he's family. Thanks for coming all the way over here. Not at all. I'll look over at Chizuru, seated behind him. She looks even worse than him. She hangs her head, staring at the floor. More like a soulless husk than a person. How is Toko? I turn at the sound of the voice. Mizuhara Toko is standing at the entrance. Her shoulders are heaving. She must have run all the way from the station. Mizuhara-san. Toko! What happened to Toko? Calm down. It's alright. Kuchiki-san's just fine. As I say that, I look into Fumiya's face. He gives a slight nod. But I'll go get my father now. Fumiya heads down the corridor. After a little while, Fumiya returns and leads us to the director's office. Slumped in his chair, Dr. Kuchiki looks as fatigued as his son. The patient's condition is stable. Post-op recovery is going well. For the moment. For the moment? Yes. We can see damage to a portion of her spinal cord. She'll probably be paralyzed in her lower limbs. In addition, she has fractured bones throughout her body, and treating those will be difficult. After saying that, Yasutada looks downward. She regained consciousness this morning, but... Can she talk? Mizuhara, silent until now, raises her voice to speak. She can, but I'll have to ask you to make a promise. What is it? I'd like you all to keep quiet about what I've just told you regarding her condition. So basically, she's going to be paralyzed for, I guess, maybe for the rest of her life, so she wouldn't be able to walk anymore. I guess that's what he's getting at. I'm not really sure. But I won't say any more than that. Huh? Toko doesn't know yet? I'll tell her myself, when she's a bit more stable psychologically. I want to be gentle with her for the time being. I understand. Mizuhara nods. Ooh, that's not a pretty sight. The room has no windows. Toko is lying upon a bed. Her face, sticking out from under the futon, shows no sign of damage. Her arm, however, is swathed in several thick layers of bandages. It looks like she's just sleeping. Toko! Mizuhara runs to the bedside. Toko! Open your eyes, Toko! I can hear you, Toko. Toko slowly opens her eyes. Toko! It looks like I've made you worry, Toko. I... Tears drip from Mizuhara's face. I want to hold you, but my arms won't move for some reason. Nuts. Don't worry about that, Toko. Let me see your face a little better. I can't move my neck. Okay. Mizuhara leans a little closer. You shouldn't be crying, Toko. You're too cute to spoil it with that. Toko! Mizuhara collapses onto the bed like a dropped puppet. Is Tokisaka-sensei there? Yeah. Could you come over here? I do as she requests, moving right to her side. Toko looks up at me. Sensei, I'm sorry for worrying you. Her voice comes out feeble and hoarse, not like the ringing of a bell at all. Toko. I gently lay my hand on her cheek. Toko's skin is icy cold, almost as though there's no blood circulating beneath it. Sensei, your hand is so warm. Oh god, don't say this in front of the other Toko. She might want to beat our ass. Toko closes her eyes. The tears trickle from her eyes to settle on my fingers. Just rest for now, and recover your strength. Yeah. I quietly step back from Toko's side and exit, leaving Mizuhara and the others behind me. I have better things to do. Saeki is waiting in the hallway. Vice Principal, you're certain that her accident happened in front of the academy? Yes, what of it? You wouldn't happen to know any other details, would you? According to the officer who investigated the scene, Kuchiki-san suddenly collapsed onto the road. He said that it wasn't a suicide, but it didn't seem like that from how she just looked. Yeah, you're right. Saeki nods gravely. But then, why? Her anemia. Fumiya joins in our conversation as he emerges from Toko's room. Anemia. Yeah, if I were other Toko, I'd be feeling like shit. It's like, hey, this might have happened as a result of you taking her medicine like a bitch. You know, but I would have at least considered that being a possibility. Yes, Toko-chan's anemia is a bit unique. She requires periodic doses of vitamins and iron. However, it seems that she didn't take her dose yesterday. And why was that? I have no idea. However, the ampule and syringe she usually carries around with her in her bag weren't there. During surgery, the blood analysis was unable to confirm that she'd taken any medicine. So she had an anemia attack, and then staggered into the road. That can't be! It's someone right behind me. When I turn around to look, I see Mizuhara Toko trembling from head to toe. Mizuhara-san. That can't be. That can't be. Are you okay? Excuse me. Yeah, feeling a little fucking guilty now, aren't we? God, I don't like her. I really fucking don't like her. I don't know anybody who's read this that actually likes her character. Keeping her eyes fixed on the floor, Mizuhara walks past me. After all that's happened, this sudden behavior piques my interest. Yeah, as it should. Acting a little suspicious, huh? Why? Well, why the fuck do you think? Why does Toko have to suffer like this? Because of you! You dumb bitch. Like, I swear, if she hadn't have done this, this wouldn't have happened. Like, this would not have happened. Jesus fucking Christ. Mizuhara Toko had been at the academy the whole time. She watched Toko leave the school through the front gate. She couldn't bring herself to call out to her friend. Not after stealing her medicine. Oh, God. Now, all she wants is to disappear. She jumps on a bus in front of the station, gets off at a random stop, and commences wandering aimlessly. She doesn't know anything about this town. Circling the residential district, she comes to a cul-de-sac. Uh-oh. What is this place? The building doesn't look like a normal home. She looks for a nameplate, but she can't find one. There's only an address plate affixed to the gatepost. Shimo Ochiai. She's heard of this place before. Why is that? It's not like a friend of hers lives here. Let's go back. For some reason, the air here is cold. She starts to shiver. Toko spins around, her eyes reflecting someone's figure. Well, that's it, fam. It's all over now. As soon as that music started playing, I was like, yep, she's fucked. There's the ominous music that usually plays whenever either something bad's about to happen or we're in some dark, secluded area. I stand on the road. You can see Oba Academy's gate from here. So this is where Toko. It really was right in front of the academy. They've already cleaned up the scene, but the tire marks remain on the road's surface. I suppose they've sprayed down the pavement to wash away the bloodstains. Despite their efforts, I can still make out a few darker patches. Vice Principal Saeki, shall we go? Yes. You wish to investigate the school, correct? There's a possibility that Kuchiki-san's medicine has been hidden somewhere. Since school ended yesterday, has there been anything out of place anywhere on campus? No. Not to my knowledge. I see. Then... I stopped in front of the school's gate. Here goes. I'm sure the Toko's medicine is here somewhere, but where should I start searching? Ah, fuck. Okay, so I think we should start with her favorite place, the art room. I've arrived at the art room, which is housed in a separate building. Now that I think about it, Toko was here yesterday. She seemed flustered. I suppose she was searching for her medicine at the time. If that's the case, then it's probably not here. I'll take a look, just in case. There are canvases stacked together in the rear of the classroom. It's not over here, huh? Just as I'm about to move on, a canvas covered with a single sheet of cloth catches my eye. There's a name tag with K Toko written on it. Not a sign of her medicine, but on the other hand, it's probably the painting Toko is working on. I wonder what her subject was. I reach out, but immediately pull it back. She had said that she would show me in a little while. I'll wait until then. Toko would probably get angry if I just looked at it on my own. Besides, her medicine is the more important concern. It doesn't look like it's here, so let's search somewhere else. Fuck. Well, where else can we search? Alright, so next stop is the classroom. I use break time to go to the classroom. Nissan? Yukari is there and comes over when I arrive. Just looking for something. Hey Yukari, have you seen a syringe-looking thing around here? A syringe? No, I haven't. I see. Let me look around a bit then. I go to Toko's seat and take a peek inside her desk. It's empty. There's no medicine in here. Well, if it were here, Toko probably would have noticed. How about another place? Looking around, I see a wastebasket in the corner. What about here? There's nothing inside but a few scraps of paper. Looks like I picked the wrong place. I have no choice but to search elsewhere. Motherfucker. Okay, so... I guess the last stop is the schoolyard. That's another place she spends her time. When I exit into the schoolyard, I promptly run into Ayumu, a wastebasket in her hands. Oh, hello there, Tokisaka-sensei. Hey, what are you up to? I'm going to throw out the trash. Ayumu holds up the wastebasket. The person who cleaned up the classroom yesterday must have forgotten to do it, so it's getting pretty full. Yesterday? It gets thrown out daily then? Yeah, but why do you ask? Ayumu tilts her head in puzzlement. Where's the trash that got thrown out yesterday? Inside the incinerator, just ahead. Oh fuck, it's about to be incinerated. Could you take me over there? I don't mind, but... Together, we head to the incinerator. Here it is. It looks like I haven't burned the trash yet. Thanks. I open the lid to the incinerator and take a peek inside. There's trash piled up. I pick up a nearby shovel, push it inside, and scrape out the garbage. Sensei? Ayumu's watching with a perplexed look on her face. I'm looking for something. Wait, what the heck are these? I have a momentary shock when I glimpse something white, stained with crimson, but it's only sanitary pads. Ugh. Put that shit back. Sensei. Ugh. I didn't mean to. Ayumu looks at me, aghast. Look, these aren't what I'm after, okay? I'll just have to take you at your word. I continue rummaging, paying no heed to her cold glance. At last, deep within, I find a cylindrical object. So this is where you've been hiding. It's quite grimy by this point, but this is probably the syringe that Toko used to inject her medicine. I also find the ampule with her medicine inside. I wrap them in a handkerchief to avoid contact and place them inside my suit pocket. Did you find it? Yeah, thanks. Sorry for making you keep me company. Not at all. As she says this, Ayumu dumps the contents of her wastebasket into the incinerator. I was just waiting so I could throw away the trash. Sorry about that. Give it your best, Tokisaka-sensei. Ayumu encourages me with a smile. Ayumu is like the secret, hidden waifu in the game. She's the route you could never get into. And you can't get into the routes in this game. I have mentioned this before. You can't get into routes, but they're just like sex scenes, and they only lead to dead ends and bad ends, so really, there is no routes in this, if you think about it. It's already evening when I get to Takeda Baba from Oba Girls Academy. I wonder if Natsume-san's in. Well, she pretty much always is. Unless she's sleeping or trying to go harass Shoujo. My, what brings you here, Tokisaki-san? Natsume-san, could I have you take a look at this? I take the syringe out of my pocket. Wow, it's pretty filthy. What do you want with it? I'd like you to please check the fingerprints on the syringe, and also the ingredients of the medicine, if possible. Do you know what kind of medicine it is? Apparently, it's for anemia. Anemia, huh? It'll probably be iron and vitamins. It's better to get red blood cells and the like from transfusions. She continues muttering, holding the ampule up to the light. When do you want to know the results? There's no need to rush, but can you get it done by tomorrow? Wouldn't you call that rushing? Not at all. Please, I'm counting on you. Fine. I'll do it. But you have to do a sexual favor for me first. I've returned home from Takeda Nobaba. Welcome back, Nissan. Thanks. It's good to be back. I just handled a crackhead syringe needle. Don't mind me. You look pretty exhausted. You can say that again. I slump into one of the chairs. Once I'm seated, I don't feel like moving anymore. And then I promptly fall asleep. I close my eyes and press my fingers against my eyelids. Phew. Toko. Why did this have to happen to her? All I can do now is pray for her recovery. Because life isn't fair, especially not in this game. And there's another intermission. At least this game has been, or at least this day has been fairly light on the intermissions. An infection! Indeed. If she doesn't receive a blood transfusion soon, her status will become critical. But our supply of the patient's blood is limited. We can't get a transfusion from anyone else, so what can we do? We have no choice but to resort to extreme measures. Oh, fuck. You mean, we're gonna have to amputate it? It's unavoidable, Murase-kun. Prepare for surgery immediately. Understood. I'm a physician. A doctor must do everything in his power to save the life of his patient. Oh, fuck. This ain't good. Oh no. Murder time. Murder. It's time for the fucking, the decapitations to begin. It was a stroke of luck that I ran into her when I did. I invited her inside, treated her to coffee, and then we talked for a little while. Her name had such a nice ring to it. When I praised her for it, she shyly said that her friend had the same name. I answered all of her questions. As I talked, the color drained from her face. She looked like she wanted to run away. I couldn't have allowed that. But at last, the sleeping medicine I slipped into her coffee has taken hold. Well now, let's begin. Hasn't your mother told you not to talk to strangers, Toko? I lay her down on the bed and strip off her white uniform. Ugh. Her slender white limbs lay exposed. She looks a bit too thin without her clothes on. But on second thought, this may be just what I need. I gag her and secure her body. After checking that the saw is firmly set, I place it at the base of her right arm. The blade tears through her flesh. A line of crimson blood flows down her white skin. Watching her bleed does nothing for me. I immediately turn my attention back to my work. I might have gotten a little bit of a sexual thrill from it, though. Blood spurts forth in greater quantities. Oh, God. She's opened her eyes. They're focused right on me. She probably has no idea what's going on. Well, she will soon. Holy fuck. A drop of the spraying blood lands on her eye. Groaning softly, she closes it. It almost looks as though she's shedding tears of blood. How disturbing and poetic. Her right arm falls to the ground. Continuing, I repeat the process with her left, and then with her legs. By now, she no longer gives any responses. I collect her 4 limbs and stack them up. They're unnecessary. I'll just deal with them like I usually do. I wonder how he usually deals with them. I block up the severed areas with paper clay, wrap them with a bandage, and apply pressure. The rest of my task lies in the room next door. Well, I did say he, but how do we know it's a guy? Ah, yes, I need to go buy some more paper clay. Yeah, he was using, clay with, fuck. Not Toko, but, Tojiko as well. Ugh. It just gets worse and worse as the game goes on. How fun. Recently, waking up in the morning has become an ordeal. Well, if only you knew what was happening to the girls, that, the girls are dying left and right. I mean, like, it seems like as we get closer to the end, like, the girls start dying more frequently. Like, they get killed. Like, more of them are going to be killed. But I think we've gotten, like, the major important characters out of the way in terms of, like, the the girls we know and talk to on a regular basis. The only ones that I can think of that are left that are at least important to the plot are Toko, Reiji's sister, and maybe the girl from the art museum. That's pretty much it. So yeah, he's cutting out all the important characters, literally and figuratively. It feels like every time I get up, I learned that another of my acquaintances has died. Yep, that's a feeling we're probably going to become more and more familiar with. I want to put an end to this mad cycle. For today, I'll go check on Toko's condition, then go over to Natsume-san's to get her report on the stuff I entrusted to her yesterday. I swear, this, if anything, this visual novel definitely gives you a feeling of just powerlessness, especially if you do this without a guide, because every little choice you make, and every choice seems like it might, even choices that don't seem important are going to be somehow important. And if you make the wrong choice, then everybody could die. Like, not just the characters that are dying right now with us, like, making the right choices. If you made the wrong ones, this would be even worse. It would be fucking horrible. Like, I shit you not when I say pretty much everybody dies. I get off the train at Nakano Station and head for the Kuchiki Pathological Research Institute. Even though it's early in the morning, the front door is open. Tokisaki-sensei, good morning. Fumiya is sitting down on one of the benches. He looks exhausted. Did you stay here overnight? Yeah, last night Toko-chan suddenly took a turn for the worse, and my father conducted emergency surgery, so right now there are no visitors allowed. How's her status? What exactly happened? I wasn't even told the details. Fumiya hangs his head. Tokisaki-sensei? Chizuru emerges from a hospital room nearby. She was probably resting inside. She doesn't look like she's fared any better than her brother. Her brother, who she sleeps with on a regular basis. Thank you for taking the time to come all the way over here. Not at all. I was worried about her as well. I see. Chizuru takes a seat. Even that small action looks like it's all she can manage. I don't know anything about that girl. There aren't any parents around that completely understand their children. No, that's not what I mean. I didn't know anything about her sickness. Sickness? You mean the anemia? I'll look at Fumiya. Toko-chan has aplastic anemia. That's different from normal anemia? Yeah, her bone marrow produces a smaller number of blood cells. Compounding matters, her blood type is extremely rare. It's known as the Bombay blood type. She can't get sufficient blood via transfusion. So that means she didn't get a blood transfusion during her surgery after the accident? We have blood stored up from when she was healthy. However, that only began after we learned of her blood type. Fumiya shakes his head. Only 4 years have passed since the Bombay type was discovered. However, my father said that we can treat her without relying on a transfusion. I heard that last night's surgery was a success. I see. But why didn't you tell Chizuru-san something so important? This has me curious. She didn't want to be a burden to Chizuru. As you already know, Toko-chan was adopted. She didn't want us to fuss over her. I don't know whether that's a good thing or not, but you've overcome that. I think you can call yourself a family in truth. I suppose you're right. Fumiya lets his head hang low. Chizuru also looks downward, saying nothing. If you'll excuse me, I'll be going now. Both of you should make sure you get some proper rest. I exit the hospital, leaving them with those final words. Well, where to now? When I head outside, I stumble across Dr. Saito as he's getting out of his car. Nice wheels you got there, Dr. Saito. Hardly. It's just a Buick that the Americans sold off. Doctors, it figures. It figures that he drives a fancy-ass car. He drives a car that would be impossible for me to even make the down payment on. But enough about that. Things have gotten rather serious, yes? Yeah, I won't have time to rest for the next few days. You already look exhausted. If you come to my office, I could at the very least prescribe you some medicine. If it's methamphetamines you're talking about, then I'll pass. Ugh, methamphetamine? I hope he's not prescribing that. I'm afraid the law has already gotten to those. As it probably should have. Well, if you've got sleeping pills, I'd say the Kuchiki family's in greater need than me right now. They probably can't sleep at all. Kuchiki-kun's also a doctor, so he should be able to get that sort of medication. All he can do is provide Toko with counseling during her recovery. Saito starts walking toward the entryway. Of course, we'll be needing your assistance as well when the time comes, so we'd be grateful if you gave it your best. Okay, I got it. Then I'll see you later. Saito goes inside the hospital. My assistance, huh? I'm just doing whatever I can at the moment. Deciding to stop by my office for a moment, I head from Nakano to Shinjuku. As I'm walking before the station, a Crown Victoria patrol car pulls right up in front of me. Reiji! What's wrong, Uzumi? Uzumi has a grim look on his face as he gets out of the car. It happened again. This time in Shimo Iguso. Again? And then I realize what he's saying. Another murder. Is it the same as before, like Suzuriko's? Yeah, about the same as Yasumiya Suzuriko. About the same? What do you mean? People are staring, so we're both being deliberately vague. Let's save that for later. Hop in. Forensics is probably finished over there. You're coming, right? Yeah. Giving him a nod, I get into the back seat. The car takes off in a westerly direction. After driving west on Waseda Road, we arrive on the outskirts of Shimo Igusa. The streets are narrow around here. It's hard to pass other vehicles. Uzumi parks in a vacant lot, and we set off down the road. 4 limbs were scattered along Waseda Road, starting around here and going up to where it comes to the Seibu line in Shimo Shakuji. 4 separate parts. Yeah, each one was stuck in a black bag. There's no doubt that they threw them out of the window of a car. So our killer has a car, huh? This supports my theory regarding Suzuriko's murder. If you look at the way the body parts are wrapped up, the MO is a clear match. It's our man. Yeah, who's the victim? We don't know yet. They were delivered to Takeda Nobaba right before I picked you up. Natsume-san's place, huh? I crouch down and take a long, hard look at the road. The surface is bathed in sunlight. The crime scene analysis is probably already finished. I don't even need to ask. They've turned up nothing. If they had, then Uzumi would have said so. If they were thrown from a moving automobile, eyewitness testimony is probably all we've got to go on. Last night, were there reports of any cars parked around where the parts were tossed? Apparently not. The roads are narrow in this area, so people drive slowly. If someone had stopped, it would have stood out, right? So that means they were dumped while the car was still moving. Hey Uzumi, where were the pieces found? I point to the sides of the road. They all landed on the shoulder, over here. Uzumi indicates the right side. Why do you ask? We probably don't know which way they fled, but if the killer was working alone, he'd have to toss the limbs while driving. Yeah, assuming he didn't stop. If that's the case, would he be able to toss them out the passenger window? No, it wouldn't make sense. Look, if it were me, I'd have them resting on my lap, and then throw them out the driver's side. I feel sick just saying that. Yeah, you're right. If the road were wide, then dropping something out the driver's side would cause it to land in the center of the road. But with a road this narrow, they could fall on the right side of the road and in the direction they were headed. So in essence, you're saying they were driving towards Shinjuku? Uzumi points to the road ahead. Well, not necessarily. What else? I continue my explanation with a wry smile. Right now, we're assuming there's only one killer. If there's an accomplice riding in the passenger seat, then that changes the story completely. I get it. If a passenger tossed them, then it'd be easy to throw them over the shoulder. And then their direction of travel would be to the left, which means they were driving towards Shakuji. So in the end, we don't know anything at all. Well, we can't change the facts. I stand up. I'm heading over to Oba Girls Academy for a moment. I want to deliver a report about Toko's condition, so give me a lift. Why do I have to? Natsume-san will need time for her analysis, right? It's not like I'm asking you to just wait there for me or anything. I'm a public servant, not a goddamn taxi service. Well, that's what you are today, motherfucker. Drive me around. You're my Uber. Uber before Uber. I have Uzumi drop me off in front of the gate. Thanks for the ride, Uzumi. Just shut up and go inside already. Uzumi growls at me and zooms off. Sheesh. I have a feeling that if we don't screw around with each other like this once in a while, the mental fatigue will start to overwhelm us. Well, as it has everyone else, it seems. Vice Principal Saeki. I greet Saeki upon entering the faculty room. Is something wrong, Tokisaki-sensei? I just went to check up on Kuchiki-san's condition. It seems that she was deteriorating, so they had to perform a second surgery. I see. I hope she gets better. Also, this hasn't been publicized yet, but another corpse was just discovered. They think it's related to Suzuriko, to Yasumiya-san's case. Another one, you say? Saeki bows his head, making the sign of a cross. It may be a while before I come back here. Yes, I fully understand. Do all you can to bring an end to this. He bows deeply to me. God damn. Yep, Toko is, it's already not looking so well for Toko. After leaving the faculty room, I bump into Yukari in the hallway. What's up, Yukari?
I saw you getting out of a patrol car.
Has something happened? Nah, I just had Uzumi bring me over here. I decided to keep the latest victim a secret. She has enough on her mind. I see. I've been worried since Mizuhara-san hasn't showed up. Well, Mizuhara Toko hasn't come to school. They haven't called her home? I don't believe so, no. My sister shakes her head. I see. The Mizuhara residence is in Shakuji. It's also close to the crime scene. Could she have... I guess that didn't cross his mind. I kind of have a really bad feeling about this. Yukari, could you get me one of her personal belongings? Nissan, don't tell me. Yukari gasps. We found another one this morning. They still don't know her identity. Oh my god. We still don't know anything. If we go over to the club room, we can probably find some of Mizuhara-san's art supplies. Yukari takes my hand in hers and starts walking. We enter the art room and Yukari brings over some of the supplies. These belong to Mizuhara-san. Okay. I open the lid of the box and wrap my handkerchief around one of the pencils inside. Nissan. I wish I could put an end to your worries, but I need to go over to Natsume-san's place and check. Yukari, you should get back to class. Okay. Yukari leaves the art room with her eyes downcast. Alright, the first order of business is getting these fingerprints analyzed at Natsume-san's. After that, I'll probably have to head over to the Mizuhara residence. I take the Seibu line to Takeda Nobaba, then head straight for Takashiro Hospital. Natsume-san. Wow, you're fast off the mark today. Natsume-san is using the examination room table for lunch, slurping some Chinese noodles. Ugh. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know how the hell she eats in the same room where she dissects bodies. Like, ugh, God. Are you already done? Yep, all finished. It was just 2 arms and 2 legs, so it didn't take that long. And the result is? I didn't even need to do an autopsy. It's the same killer. They were even put into the same type of black bag. Natsume-san flipped through her report. The estimated time of death is last night, midnight of April 11th. Just like the previous victim, they were severed using a serrated implement while she was still alive. Did you figure out her identity? I've got fingerprints, but they haven't turned up on the list of missing persons yet. Then, please compare them with the prints on this. I hold out the pencil I collected from Mizuhara's supplies. Right on top of things as always, Tokisaka-san. Already got a lead, huh? It belongs to a student from Oba Girls Academy. She lives near the crime scene, and they still haven't confirmed her whereabouts as of today. I see. I guess I better have a look. Natsume-san gulps down the last of her broth and stands. I'll be done in a flash, so just hold on a bit. Sure. She moves to her work desk. If there's enough prints on here, then using powder should be fine. Right. Muttering under her breath to nobody in particular, she gets right to work. Natsume-san, I'm borrowing your telephone. Sure thing. I should do whatever I can while we're waiting. I pick up the receiver and call Oba Girls Academy. Hello, you've reached Oba Girls Academy. Vice Principal Saeki, it's Tokisaka. Is something the matter? I'd like you to tell me Mizuhara Toko-san's home phone number. Mizuhara-san? Now that you mentioned it, I got a report that she was absent today. Have you called her to check? No, as far as I know, nobody has, but please hold on a moment. I hear the sound of shuffling papers on the other end of the line. Thanks for waiting. Her number is... I write down the number Saeki tells me. According to her homeroom teacher, we haven't contacted her yet. I see. Then I'll give them a call. I'm sorry for troubling you. Bye. I put down the receiver, and then immediately pick it up again and dial the number I was just given. The phone rings. And rings. And rings some more. It doesn't look like anyone's going to pick up. Are they out? Finally giving up and putting the phone back into the cradle, I look up to see Natsume-san watching me. All done. I see. Looking at her expression, I can already guess the result. Is it a match? Yeah. They're a perfect match with the fingerprint off the index finger of the right hand. The corpse belongs to Mizuhara Toko, a student of Oba Girls Academy. Please write that in your report. Contact the police while you're at it. Got it. What are you going to do now, Tokisaka-san? I'm going to go to Mizuhara-san's house and tell them the news. I see. I don't envy you one bit. Somebody's got to do it. I leave Natsume-san's place. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. Walking north away from Kamiyagusa Station brings me to the Mizuhara residence. There was no answer when I called, but I knock on the door. Open up, bitch. Mizuhara-san, it's Tokisaka from Oba Girls Academy. I raise my voice to be heard inside. I wait a little while before hearing a noise from within. The door opens a crack. What is it? Mizuhara-san, I've come to talk about Toko-san. Toko? I'm sorry, but could we talk inside? Sure. I slipped through the open door. I'm sorry about the mess. Don't mention it. I called earlier. Were you out then? Well, Mio doesn't meet my gaze. I guess she was just pretending to be out. But I'm not here to chew her out about that. Has Toko done something? What has Toko-san been up to today? Yeah, I don't think her mother really knows that. Huh? Mio looks behind her. That's probably Toko's room. I think she went to school. I mean, she's probably been gone since yesterday. I don't know how the fuck she doesn't know where the hell she went. It's like she didn't return home, so I think, you know, you'd think that she'd be at least a little bit suspicious about that. So you don't know? Yeah, I haven't seen her today. When did you last see her? Yesterday, I think. That's right, she said she was going to visit Kuchiki-san. And you haven't seen her since? No, I was out myself, so... I see. This isn't the time to comment on her parenting skills. They're not very good. Has Toko done something? This morning, 4 human limbs were discovered on the side of Waseda Road, near Shimoigusa. It's not far from here. The fingerprints were a perfect match with your daughter's. Huh? Yeah, she looks real fucking shocked. She looks right at me, caught off guard. What are you trying to say? I regret to say that Toko-san has most likely been murdered, and that her limbs were the ones found by the road. Mio collapses on top of the table. That can't be. That's not... Mizuhara-san, but could I take a look at Toko-san's room? I might be able to find some clues. Go ahead. Mio nods, moaning piteously. I don't know if she's fully aware of what I asked her, but we're running out of time. I have to find something, anything. Ah shit, son, it's investigation time. I open the sliding door and am confronted by a room so drab that you never guess it belonged to a female student. Well, I wonder if I'll find anything. Well, the room's already not very noteworthy. Okay, so... According to the guide, where the hell should we check here? The bookshelf on top of the desk, and then the bookshelf again. So there's a bookshelf right here, there's like books with bookends. I take a look at the books lined up on her desk. There are diaries here. What's inside? When I open one to take a look, a bunch of photographs fall out. They're all of Kuchiki Toko. Yeah, she's fucking obsessed. There's also several sheets of stationery. They appear to be letters from Toko. I'll hang on to these for the time being. What about the bookshelves over here? Her bookcases are jammed with paperbacks. The Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland. The majority are children's literature from overseas. Judging by the creased covers and dog-eared pages, she's read them all many times. Okay, well, those aren't very noteworthy. Okay, so we checked the bookshelf. Maybe we should check the bookshelf again, apparently? I take a look inside the diary. I thought there'd be some clues inside, but... What the hell is this? Every single page is filled with a detailed, thorough account of Kuchiki Toko's life. It says where she's gone, of course, but it even lists her most trivial activities. This is practically an observation diary of Toko. That's, really fucking creepy. Aside from that disturbing discovery, nothing else catches my interest. Oh, come on. It said that there's something else on the bookshelf. What about this one? Upon taking a closer look, I see a scuff mark on the tatami below the bookshelf. This is the only spot where the straw is perfectly clean. Has she moved it? I take a peek behind the shelf and spot another book, wedged far in the back. I reach in and pull it out. A magazine? Oh, hey look! It's the egg, the bleeding egg from the cover of the game, I think. May 1956. It's new. It looks to be an art and literature magazine. I recognize a number of the authors listed. Among the assorted names is Katsuragi Shin. It looks like it contains his short story, The Shell of Sheol. Him again. The story's even been bookmarked. Did Toko read it? What could this mean? I should hold on to this magazine for the time being. Alright, so I think we should continue looking at the bookshelf. I take another peek behind the bookshelf. There's a small scrap of paper fallen behind here. What could it be? I strain to reach it, but it's just barely out of my grasp. I have to shift the bookshelf a little bit before I can pinch the scrap between my fingers. Katsuragi Shin? It's a black and white photograph, but why does she have something like this? I doubt it's a supplement to the magazine. I don't see anything written on the cover or inside about it. Besides, judging by the material, it's an ordinary photograph, not newsprint. When and where was it taken? And furthermore, why is it here? I'll go and ask the man himself. With my search mostly finished, I stepped back to take another look. I didn't find any decisive clues. I guess that's about it. The magazine with Katsuragi Shin's story, and also his photograph. Why were they hidden there? When I look over at the living room, Mio still collapsed upon the table. It doesn't look like I'll be able to question her about her daughter's activities. Mizuhara-san, these are some of Toko-san's belongings. Would it be okay if I borrowed them for a short period of time? Sure. Mio doesn't bother to look up. I promise I'll return them. Then, if you'll excuse me. I leave the Mizuhara residence. For the time being, I should go have a talk with Katsuragi. I might be able to find something out. His office was in Nakano, right? I guess I'll take the bus. Yeah, I don't know. Katsuragi's looking a little bit more suspicious. It's like everything seems to go back to him. I don't know if that's really gonna mean anything, but you know, you never know. I don't know. What do you guys think is who do you guys think is behind everything? Because really, I remember when I first played this, I was just kind of I was guessing as to who it might be. I take the bus westwards along Waseda Road over to Nakano. After walking a short distance from the station, I'd arrive at Katsuragi Shin's office. After last month, it's easy enough for me to find, but... Katsuragi Shin, are you there? I call out and wait, but nobody answers. I press my ear to the door, but I can't hear anyone inside. Is he out? If I can't talk to Katsuragi, now what do I do? Force yourself inside. I'll have Uzumi take a crack at it. I had Uzumi look into Katsuragi's whereabouts before. Maybe he dug up something else in the process. Where's the nearest public phone? Never mind. I'll go directly to the investigative division. I take the train to Yatsuya, then transfer to the Toden line. I get off at Sakuradama. I run into Uzumi as I'm about to enter the MPD. Reiji, what are you doing over here? He gets out of a patrol car parked in front of the building. I was looking for you. Really? Well, let's not stand around and talk. In we go. I've just been over to Mizuhara Toko's house. It looks like you just barged in there on your own, huh? Uzumi grouses at me, grinding his cigarette between his teeth. Yeah, sorry about that. Find anything? I don't know if it's relevant, but it looks like Toko was a reader of Katsuragi Shin's stories. Katsuragi? Ah, the guy from last time. But just being a reader isn't proof of anything, you know? I know. Was there anything that stood out to you when you investigated him last time? Well, I don't know. All I looked into was his address and real name. Real name? He was using an alias? Not an alias. A pen name. I remember his real name being... Right. Here we go. Mamiya Shinji. Mamiya? Oh shit. Oh shit. Mamiya? Is he related to Mamiya Shinzo? According to the data I requested, his father's name is Shinzo. Now where did I hear that name? Uzumi, how are you such a fucking bad detective? How do you not remember this? I asked you about it before, remember? I said he was an artist that Kyoko liked. Really? Yeah, especially if it regards a woman you're interested in. Jesus fucking Christ. But for those two to be parent and child of all things. Vice Principal Saeki might know something about that if I ask him. Thanks, Uzumi. Is that Katsuragi guy suspicious? It's too early to say. I need a little time to see how things pan out. Be ready to make a move at any time, okay? Got it. Alright, time to visit the academy. Things just keep getting more interesting, don't they? Taking the train, I get back to the academy just before sunset. Vice Principal Saeki. I find the Vice Principal in the faculty room. Ah, Tokisaka-san. Saeki comes over, looking drained. I was just contacted by the police. They said the body found earlier was Mizuhara-san. Yeah, I'm afraid so. Why does this madness keep continuing? Because it has to. The tragedy must go on. Let's put an end to it. There's something I need you to tell me. It's about Mamiya Shinzo. He's the killer? It can't be. No, his son Shinji may possess an important lead to the case. However, we don't know anything for certain. His son, you say? Yes, he's been publishing novels under a pen name, Katsuragi Shin. He was a prime suspect for a period of time in last month's case as well. Now I remember. I don't know what use this will be to you, but I believe Mamiya Shinzo owned an atelier in Shimio Ochiai, which is now under his son's name. An atelier? Yes, he was evading taxes or something, as he had it constructed under his newborn son's name. I recall an old friend told me he rarely used it, if ever. In Shimio Ochiai. An atelier, all but abandoned. It may be worth the time to check it out. Do you know the exact address? Yes, I'm sure it was in Shimoochi. I write down the address Saiki tells me. Thank you very much, Vice Principal. What a tangled web we weave, yes. I pray that the killer is caught quickly, but if it turns out to be the son of one of my acquaintances... Like I said, we don't know anything for certain yet. Indeed. Tokosaka-san, please find the truth. Of course, I'll get to the bottom of this. The sun is completely set by the time I get back home. Welcome home, Nissan. I'm back, Yukari. Are you okay? She looks pale. Yeah, I'm alright. I can't be worrying you at a time like this, Nissan. I heard about what happened to Mizuhara-san. I see. Takashiro-san just called a little while ago. He said he wants you to call him back. Takashiro? Got it. I wonder if he's discovered something. I pick up the receiver and dial the number of Takashiro's office. You've reached the Takashiro Detective Agency. Fucking Kazuna. She's like his secretary. A bright voice chirps from the receiver. Oh, Kazuna-san. Sorry to call so late at night. It's me, Tokosaka. Ah, good evening, Tokosaka-san. What's the matter, calling at this hour? Is Shugo there? Yep, hold on a second, please. Shugo-san, you have a phone call from Tokosaka-san. I find myself involuntarily pulling the receiver away from my ear. At least she's back to her usual spunky self. Hello? Tokosaka? Yeah, it's me. Did you find something out? Yeah, there's an eyewitness account of a person dressed in black at Kidbokuji on the evening of April the 5th. Are you serious? Finally, we hit pay dirt. It seems the outfit wasn't completely black. As far as they could tell from a distance, it was a female. A female? They couldn't be certain, though. That's pretty vague, man. Well, what are you gonna do? It happened a whole week ago. Thanks, Takashiro. Nah, it's no big deal. Give me a call if anything else pops up. He hangs up. A woman dressed in all black, huh? Nissan, this magazine. What about it? Yukari is staring at the magazine I left on the table. Why do you have this, Nissan? Well, I found it in Mizuhara-san's room. Mizuhara-san had it? Nissan, may I take a look inside? Sure, you don't have to worry about getting fingerprints on it. I haven't checked it for prints, but since the magazine passes through the hands of all kinds of people, there's no point in trying. Despite that, Yukari takes great care as she flips the pages. This is the May issue of Art and Literature. Yeah, the new one, right? It's still April. It's common for monthly magazines to be ahead by a month. Please wait a second. Yukari stands and goes into the hall. What's she doing? She returns immediately. In her hands is a similar magazine. This is Art and Literature's April issue. You buy them too? Yeah, because Suzuriko's novel was published in it. Murmuring that, she flips through the pages. There's Suzuriko's novel, The Everlasting Pearl. This magazine is sold on the 13th of every month. The 13th. I'll look at the calendar. Today is April the 12th. Tomorrow? Yes, some bookstores might sell it one day early, but Toko went missing yesterday. That's right. In addition, did you see the back cover? The back. I flipped through the May issue on the table. And plain as day, there's a red seal. Sample. A sample? This probably wasn't purchased in a bookstore. Well now, I think I can finally feel the pieces starting to fall into place. I retire to my room and light a cigarette. It's time. Let's pull all the pieces of the puzzle together and figure out what to do from now. The corpses we found since the beginning of last month, the case of the eggs filled with human flesh, and the case of the dismembered limbs. Are they both the work of a single killer? Yeah, I think I'm still gonna have to go with they're the work of a single person. That's the only thing that really makes sense. What points to that most strongly? I think it was only the 4 limbs were disposed of. Is this how it all fits together? Yes. Moving on then. The killer. No, let's not get ahead of ourselves. As things stand, who is the most suspicious? Start by picking a single person. If we widen our scope, then things will start to lose focus. Oh, man. Well, as of right now, the most suspicious person we have would be... Where the fuck is he? I just passed him. Miyamayuki... Oh. Oh, no, this was, Yeah, here we go. Mamiya Shinji. Shinji. Fuck. Get in the robot, Shinji. The man identified as Mamiya Shinji. He does seem suspicious, but do I have any evidence to back that up? I flip through my notebook. All we really have so far seems to be like this, his photograph and that atelier thing. Where is his photograph? It could be like way far back here. Oh, here we go. Katsuragi Shin's photograph. The photograph of Katsuragi Shin, rather, of Mamiya Shinji, that was in Mizuhara's room. No matter how you look at it, it's strange that she had this in her possession. Had she met this man before? And if not, were they related in some other way? I'm curious about why the May issue of Art and Literature was left there. If that's really a sample issue, not in common circulation, then that raises the possibility that he's an acquaintance of hers. The same holds true for Suzuriko. When he stopped by Moonworld, Suzuriko was in unusually high spirits. If he had called out to her on the street, she might well have gone with him. Yeah, that is true, she was a fan of his. Furthermore, Takashiro told me that a witness saw a person dressed in black. It appeared to be a female, but if it was too dark to see clearly, there's a good chance the witness was mistaken. He's a small guy, and it wouldn't be strange to see his hairstyle on a woman. Let's move on. How are the corpses disposed of? Mizuhara's forelimbs were probably thrown out of a vehicle. However, he told me that he couldn't drive a car. That leaves the strong possibility of an accomplice. An accomplice who can drive. That's the person who carries the parts away from the murder scene. The crime scene, then. Let's pick out a place that seems suspicious. Well, I already know this one. It's under Mamiya Shinzo's name, and is said to be unused at present. The perfect place to carry out murders unseen. Tomorrow, I'll call Ozumi and we'll go search it. Man, for all we know, tomorrow might be too late at this rate. Holy shit. Seems like everything's happening just way too fast. Everybody's dying left and right. Just tell Ozumi to get over there, on the double. The location is in Shimo Ochiai. I tell them the address and set down the receiver. Now everything's ready. We're finally closing in on the solution to this case. At the moment, he's just a suspect. Nonetheless, I believe he's the killer. If I didn't, we wouldn't be able to act. I go outside. I suppose I should take the Seibu Shinjuku line. Nissan! Yukari runs out after me. What's wrong, Yukari? I was just heading out for a bit. Yeah. Nissan, have a safe trip. Yeah, I will. You don't need to worry about me. Okay. If anything, her expression turns even more forlorn. I pat her on the head, then head off toward the station. Buried deep in the heart of the labyrinthine residential district, there stands a white building. The lot where it's built almost looks like a small park. Something about it is different from the other houses. This was built to serve as Mamiya Shinzo's atelier. Hey, you're late. Uzumi's already arrived. You didn't come in a patrol car? I didn't see one parked on the road as I approached. This is a search without a warrant. The police can't be seen to be involved. Oh, so you shouldn't be doing this, should you? So you didn't get a warrant? Of course not. All you told me was that this place was suspicious. Like hell you could get a warrant for that. Just make something up. It's not hard. If that's the case, then we won't be able to go inside, will we? Yep, that's how it is. All we can do is see if he'll answer our questions voluntarily. Then again, it doesn't look like there's anybody home. Ozumi looks up at the building. It is indeed completely silent. There's no sign of human presence. Yeah, if you guys remember, this is around where Mizuhara disappeared. So, this place is definitely hiding something. But people have been in and out. There's some fresh footprints here. I crouch down and point to the ground near the entryway. This one's a woman's. Ozumi mutters, indicating the smaller set. So we're dealing with at least 2 people, unless these belong to one of the victims. If it were a victim, then there wouldn't be footprints on them coming out, right? This person's been coming and going multiple times. A joint murder, or perhaps the killer's accomplice. Well, that's assuming the guy who lives here is a murderer. There is no proof of that yet, though. Ozumi draws closer to the building. Hey, Reggie, you smell something? I edge closer to the entryway and take a whiff. There's a faint, rotten odor hanging in the air. Uh-oh. Is that a corpse? We're going in, Reggie. Ozumi puts a hand on the atelier's door. We're going... Hey, we don't have a warrant, right? This is an emergency. Ozumi slams into the door with his broad shoulders. I can swear I just saw the building shake. Shit! One more time! A crash, and the door topples inward. Let's go! Ozumi dashes inside. A moment later, and I'm right on his heels. Ugh! As soon as I'm inside, I have to cover my mouth with my hand. The stench of death in the air is overpowering. I can feel it scraping against the back of my throat. I can feel it soaking right into my eyes. Hey, Uzumi. Will you look at that, Reiji? Uzumi points to the windowsill. A table, stained completely red, is illuminated by light from the window. That's not paint, is it? I mutter, barely hearing it as I look over the paintings. This is no time for jokes. Shit, we've hit the goddamn jackpot. Uzumi grimaces. A saw? It's casually laid on the ground. The blade gleams dully, but the handle is caked with blood and bits of flesh. Other unidentifiable scraps are scattered on the floor. It looks like there's a room further in. I've got a bad feeling about what we're going to find in there. Further in. It's just as Uzumi says. The horrible stench is coming from another room. There aren't any dead bodies in here, which means... Let's go. There's no turning back now. I turn the knob and push the door inward. Ugh! I pinch my nose, gagging on the miasma in the room. It's almost physically painful to breathe. This is... Oh! Oh, what the fuck? What in the fuck is that? There are girls in eggshells, like in the book. Oh. Oh my god. Lined up beside the walls are 4 objects to art. The shells of eggs are used as receptacles for the bodies of the girls. Their skin is pure white. It must be plaster or clay. But this is... Gulping uncomfortably, I approached for a closer look. Reiji. I know. Each of the 4 girls' bodies are missing their limbs. They all have the same face. However, one of them looks still to be in the midst of production. Her face hasn't been covered in clay. Toko. Decay hasn't yet taken its toll on Mizuhara Toko's face. With her eyes closed and head down, she could easily just be sleeping. Let's get out of here for a moment, Reiji. If we stay in here, we're gonna go crazy. Yeah. I nod, glancing at the other completed girls. One, fallen to the ground, has familiar unkempt hair. I'm sorry I was too late, Tojiko. Ugh. After apologizing to her, I let Uzumi lead me out of the room. Holy fucking Christ. Yep, so that's what he's been doing to the girls. Putting them all in black eggshells. As for why, that's a real good fucking question. Maybe it's similar to the reason why Kusaka was doing it, just because he thought that it would bring back his dead sister or something. I'm gonna call for backup. You stay here. Uzumi runs off. Even in a nightmarish situation like this, he's still a police officer to the core. I take out a cigarette and light it. I have to get rid of the dead body smell that's still clinging to my nose and throat. Uzumi returns almost immediately. The cavalry will be barging in here soon. After saying that, Uzumi puts a cigarette into his mouth. Did they say anything? Huh? Hell if I care. Uzumi turns away from me. I wonder what they said to him. They probably chewed him out for acting on his own. Has Mamiya Shinzo been apprehended? Not yet. We have to investigate some more and confirm the charges against him. He's gonna get away if you guys move too slowly. We can't do things like the special hire police did. Isn't that why I came all the way over here? Well, from what I can see, you're more brutal than they are. I point to the ruined door of the atelier. Yeah, they're gonna have some questions about that. Somehow I doubt I'm getting through this one with my badge intact. Yeah, probably not. Let me have your badge, officer. Sorry I dragged you into this. We do whatever it takes to confirm a suspect. Looks like they're here. Uzumi stubs out his cigarette. Well, that was real fucking quick. I see a number of officers jogging up the narrow lane. Commissioner Yaginuma came too, huh? I never thought I'd see him running out at the front of the pack. Uzumi! Damn, did you just fucking deck him? No sooner has Yaginuma arrived than he slugs Uzumi right in the face. You fool! How many times have I warned you about disrupting the chain of command? Yes, sir. Uzumi snaps to attention at once. If something had gone wrong, it would already be too late. Do you understand? This organization is a machine, and you are just one cog in it. You got it? Yes, I hear you loud and clear, Commissioner. Huh. Yaginuma snorts, then stalks off to issue orders to the members of the forensics team as they arrive. Always gotta keep the organization in mind when you make decisions, huh? That's how the police force works nowadays. Uzumi doesn't sound particularly regretful. That's why guys like you and Takashiro don't get much work. You won't adapt to your surroundings. Stuff like that just rubs me the wrong way, though. But forget about that. Is your chin alright, man? It sounded pretty bad when he hit you. Please, you could barely call that a hit. Time to get to work. With that, Uzumi heads off toward the atelier. Man, that guy's gonna punch the wrong person one day. Get his fucking shit kicked in. When I return to that dimly lit room, there are forensics people running around collecting evidence. It looks like I'll just get in their way. And to drive that point home, Yaginuma seems to be treating me as if I'm not here. Oh, hello, Tokisaki-san. Natsume-san strides into the atelier. Well, here's something you don't see every day. Natsume-san's actually visiting a crime scene. Hey, it's close, and I figured I could use a little exercise. So you're the one that discovered it, Tokisaki-san. Yeah, they're inside. I gesture toward the inner room, where the bodies of Toko and the other girls are. Then I'm going to take a peek, okay? I follow her inside. Good lord, this is terrible. Even Natsume-san can't keep the abject shock from her voice. This guy's something else. I've seen tons of corpses up until now, but this is the first time I've seen something this bizarre. She peers closely at the macabre collection of girls-turned sculptures. This looks like paper clay. It sucked the moisture right out of them and got all soggy. And look at this. The same face on every one, huh? Is that how you see it? Yep, the bridge of the nose, the shape of the jaw. Looks like a running theme here, doesn't it? You might be right about that. Choosing a similar appearance for each had to have been deliberate. Well, we'll have the finer details after I've taken them back to my place. It might take a while, though. Thanks in advance, Natsume-san. I go outside to find Commissioner Yaginuma. His investigators lined up before him. Go collect information about our prime suspect, Katsuragi Shin, aka Mamiya Shinji. I want this man found. They quickly disperse to carry out their duties. He's quite skilled, but... Sergeant Uzumi, you are hereby reassigned from the Violent Crimes Division to Special Crimes. Understood? Yes, sir. It's roughly what Uzumi predicted. It's great that he's not being taken off duty, but it looks like he's being pulled off the case. Uzumi. As he walks over to me, I try to think of something to say. What's the matter? What's with that sad face of yours? Sorry for making you come with me. Oh, stop apologizing already. I don't have to work under him anymore. My prayers have been answered. Yeah, that's probably a good thing. Uzumi claps me on the back, chuckling heartily. He then leaves the crime scene, his cigarette still clamped in his mouth. He's just putting on a show of being stoic, isn't he? Yeah. I'm sure he wanted to be involved in the investigation until the very end. I know how he feels. Things are going to get a lot tougher with him out of the picture. Yeah, he has helped us out a lot. There are too many in there for me to look over at my place, so they might be shipped to the forensic hospital. I'm sure I'll end up over there myself. I'm counting on you. Yeah, just leave it to me. I suppose I'll just keep an eye on what the police do for a while. I guess we'll just have to, do the rest of this ourselves, won't we?